Dave Dombrowski has said we need to be open-minded in how we improve this team. So that's why I think you've heard Alec Bohm's name a lot. You've heard Brandon Marsh's name mentioned as well.
Here we go. Todd Zolecki, MLB.com, Phillies beat writer, and of course, host of the Phillies Show. And we'll call him star of the Phillies Show because the other two aren't on right now. So why not? Make sure you check the show out wherever you get your pods. Check it out on YouTube. Yeah. Hey, Todd does a lot of heavy work behind the scenes. So this is a versatile man. Todd, but great to have you on. Great work on covering the Max Kepler signing yesterday. So we haven't touched that yet. Waiting for you on it. What do you think? This one's interesting. Jordan Romano, easy, makes sense. What is the thought process here?
It was surprising to me. So like last night, Mark Feinsand and I were here that the Phillies had agreed to terms on a 1-year deal for an outfielder. So I immediately go, okay, so no Hernandez, no Santander, no Profar. All right, so I got to start thinking of right-handed hitting corner outfielders that could sign on a 1-year deal. So I'm looking at Mark Hanna, guys like that, because last year at this in July, the Phillies said we need a right-handed hitting corner outfielder to protect ourselves against left-handed pitching late in the season and postseason. So they traded Sir Anthony Dominguez to the Orioles for Austin Hayes. Hayes didn't work out. They non-tender him. So I'm going, all right, right-handed hitting corner outfielder. And then we find out it's Max Kepler. So it caught me by surprise, I guess. But, Kepler provides them some nice defense in the corner outfield. When he's healthy, he's productive. He doesn't swing and he doesn't chase a lot, which is something the Phillies have been trying to address in terms of the look and feel of their lineup. So like Romano, though, another guy in a 1-year deal, another guy looking for a bounce back. And I think that's what the Phillies are trying to do right now is they kind of nibble around the edges in terms of how to improve their roster. They're trying to look for, high upside guys that they don't have to commit multiple years to.
Is this a because of or about to type of move? Is this because of the fact that the Nick Castellanos getting traded before didn't work out? Or is this about to have something else that's going to happen?
Well, I think they're still going to do something else. Alec Bohm's name has been out there a lot. I know Ken Rosenthal said the other day that he still thinks he's going to get traded. That would not surprise me at all because the Phillies do want to try to mix things up a little bit. Now the Phillies have come out recently and said, listen, we're not calling teams about Alec Bohm. They're calling us about Alec Bohm. It's kind of semantics, right? I mean, are you shopping him? Are you not shopping him? They are making him available. They have been trying to make a trade that has involved him. So I think this I'm not saying this absolutely means something else is going to happen, but I do suspect something is going to happen. It could be independent of this. They could maybe still trade Alec Bohm or, maybe trade a pitcher or a prospect or two to address another need. But it is interesting. I think the biggest thing, Kratzy, is that the Romano and the Kepler deals tell me that they are being super, super cognizant of where they are payroll-wise. Before the Kepler deal, they were projected 2025 payroll to be around $289 million. Now they're right up at that $301 million. That's the fourth luxury tax threshold. So every dollar spent over that, you're taxed at 110% for every dollar over. I think they're very, very aware of that. And so maybe they're trying to nibble around the edges until they can strike big and make another upgrade somewhere, if it's the bullpen or if it's the lineup.
John Middleton said stupid money a few years ago, and then he's bringing in new people. To me, I feel like it's the losing the draft or losing the not the draft pick compensation, but the international money. That's where I think they don't want to go over that line. Does this mean someone else could be on the market? My mind goes to Brandon Marsh, somebody who came in and was playing a decent center field. Then Rojas plays a center field but doesn't hit. Now we see videos every week. Oh, Rojas home run in the Dominican Republic. And it's like watching, for Philly fans, it's like watching Ben Simmons shoot a three-pointer at the gym is like watching Johan Rojas hit a home run in the Dominican League.
Right.
We got to see it to believe it. But they have that defense. Max Kepler's defense in the outfield. Does he replace a Marsh? Do they look to move a Marsh? Or is there someone else that they're like, ooh, we can move some value with a contract to get something else?
Yeah, I think Brandon Marsh is a great name right there because again, a guy with multiple years of team control. He can play a great left field. He's an above average center fielder. He hits right handed pitching well. Has not really developed into the everyday player the Phillies have hoped he would. And I think Dave Dombrowski has said this phrase so much this offseason that he actually has mentioned it. It's like I've said this a lot, but open-minded. He says we need to be open-minded in how we improve this team. So that's why I think you've heard Alec Bohm's name a lot. You've heard Brandon Marsh's name mentioned as well, not nearly as much as Alec Bohm, but I think if the right situation came up, they could certainly include Brandon Marsh in a package to try to upgrade somewhere else. Yeah, and Kepler could maybe play some center field. He's played center field in the past, and he's an above-average defender. So I think really anything is on the table, other than maybe going out and signing somebody to a 5-year, $100 million contract.
I'm with you. And first off, the Phillies
Scotty,
are
hang on.
what?
Scotty, hang on. You're real fuzzy. You got a little buzzing on your microphone. So I'm going to ambush and ask all my Homer questions. Unless Todd Frazier.
Yeah.
Do you have a question? You can take over. Not the real Todd Frazier, the real Todd Zolecki.
Go ahead, Todd. What were you going to say?
I was going to say this is probably the only time you've ever had two Todds on the show. I mean,
only
Todd,
time.
Our name has fallen out of favor the last 20 years. Let's be honest,
man.
Yeah. You don't see too many kids. You don't see too many 6-year-olds running around with the name Todd. You know what I mean? So
I got to be honest with you. If somebody names their kid Todd, I will take that baby and I will buy it anything it wants because it just doesn't happen anymore. So we are just one. We're unique. We're one of a kind. Like you meet another Todd, you're like, no, you know what I mean? It's like this is a great day for me. This is a great day because it is. Nobody uses that name and it's so unique. The only thing I think about with the name Todd is from Christmas Vacation. You remember the show with? Why is the carpet all wet, Todd? I don't know, Margot. That everybody talks about that.
Well, my daughter's name is Margot, so that gets mentioned a lot during Christmas. Swear to God. Yep.
Is that why you named her Margot?
No, it is not. But people have said you have to create some sort of Christmas card at some point.
You have to. Oh my God! And or Halloween. No, but my question to you is: this team is stacked, man. They the names. From the Wheelers to the Harpers, to the Schwarbers, why aren't they getting in this World Series every year? What is stopping this team? Is it the pitching? Is it, not playing together? Is the chemistry? There's got to be something pinpoint because every year I talk to Kratzy, I'm like, what is going on with this squad? Why aren't they not finishing out the year?
Yeah, I think the last 2 years for sure, the lineup in the postseason has just not lived up to the hype. They got off to such a great start last year that then they kind of slumped down the stretch. And if you look at I think the big thing in Philadelphia, you can't go anywhere without hearing chase rate, swing and miss. I never heard those phrases used anywhere near as much as I have since the 2023 NLCS. Remember the Phillies took that 2-0 lead over the Diamondbacks. I had people telling me they're going to roll over Arizona. This is over. They're going to win the World Series. I don't care who they play. And then the Diamondbacks went out and they just started throwing everything off the plate. And the Phillies kept chasing everything off the plate and they got themselves out of that series. And that kind of happened a little, not so much against the Mets last year, but the offense just did not perform. And so there's a lot of frustration in Philly right now. And they're asking the same questions that you are. Like, why is this team not going to get there? There's a lot of people in Philly that don't think that team is going to get there. But the Phillies, of course, like Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson, and the players will say, listen, we just got to get hot at the right time. We haven't been hot at the right time. It's all about who's playing well going into the postseason. And in the postseason, we've just had 2 bad series. And in the case of the Phillies, it was the final 5 games of the 2023 NLCS. And then those 4 games against a kind of storybook Mets team. So they still think, the people internally still think that this team is a World Series caliber team. They just have to step up when it matters the most.
All right, I think I'm back. Good. So I just wanted to say in response to what Kratz said 5 minutes ago, they have been spending stupid money. It's the number 2 payroll in the game. And I do think even though, there's budget, it gets in your head at that threshold where you're going, okay, if I sign a player for $20 million a season and I'm on this tax number, I'm paying them 40 plus, even though, you could technically say it's spread out amongst your whole payroll. that is how it works, right? This player is going to tax you double. So it is hard to get over that. So with that being said, Todd, my question is, what other creative shuffling can be done? It seems like it would be easier to pull off at this point via trade market. And at least from the notes I've seen so far this offseason, it sounds like the asking price for Alec Bohm has been quite high, and they might need to bring it down a little bit. Like I remember one report was talking about Logan Gilbert or George Kirby. I'm like, guys, come on. You can't do that. That's not a fair fight.
No. Yeah. So I think, for sure, I think the Phillies are shooting high, at least at the beginning of the offseason with Alec Bohm and some of their players. Maybe that comes down. Maybe once the Alex Bregman situation gets figured out and he settles on a team, then the teams that had maybe fell short in their pursuit of him, they call the Phillies like, okay, we didn't get Bregman. What can we do to make Alec Bohm happen? So, yeah, I think it just makes the most sense that they make a trade if they are going to make that next significant impact move of the offseason. I guess they could still go out and kind of, bargain hunt. On our show the other day, Jim Salisbury mentioned, she's like, what if Carlos Estevez is hanging around for another few weeks and they can get him on a 1-year deal, maybe bring him back on a 1-year deal. Maybe if you can't upgrade the lineup like you really want to, just totally load up on a filthy dominant bullpen. And we've seen teams do that before, where they go into the offseason saying, we need to really stack up here or improve here. They can't do it. So they add another pitcher or they add another couple pitchers. So I think that's something they could do. But, they have Alec Bohm, they have Brandon Marsh, they have Ranger Suarez who's in the final year of his deal. Although I think the Phillies really value starting pitching. So I think it's unlikely they move him, but they have some top prospects that have garnered some interest. The one guy they won't trade is Andrew Painter. He's really their only true untouchable, but they have Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford. They have some other prospects at the top and in the lower levels of the system. I think a lot of teams would like. So they do have some capital, but they also don't have a ton of capital that they can just, put together necessarily that package the Red Sox put together for Garrett Crochet.
I'm going to video this on my phone because I don't think Jim Salisbury has internet at his house. You need to give me the last one here, just a comment. What is your power rankings on the biggest diva from the Phillies show? 1 to 3.
The biggest diva from the Phillies show? Well, I'm going to have to say I'm 3, right? Because I'm the low.
Perfect.
Oh
Perfect.
gosh, I'm going to say Ruben. He's a former player. Come on now, you got to admit, right? Former player.
He's the only podcast show guy who wants a private jet to get to his own show that's in his house. I get it. He's big league. I get it. That's all I need.
Big leaguers, man. You can't take the big leaguer out of the big leaguer, even if they're part of the league. You know what I mean?
Todd, I'm going to post online today and ask if anybody named their kid Todd in the last 10 years. I'd be surprised.
If you get any response, I would be stunned. Unless it's a Todd Jr. Todd Jr.'s don't count.
I've never even heard of a Todd Jr. either. Like there's
because they know it's a bad call right out the gate. They lived it. They lived as Todds.
That's unsportsmanlike. This guy down here, unsportsmanlike down here.
Flag.
Put it out there. It'll probably go viral. You'll get every Todd on the planet.
That's
Diamond in saying, hey, don't forget about me. It'll be good for the game. We're growing the game. Todd, great to have you on. Zolecki, have a great holiday.
You too.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.